Y'all, residency has been kicking my butt. I'm a child of God. Nothing can kick my butt. I will flourish and I will thrive in Jesus' name. Amen. Hello, folks. It's been quite a long time. It's been a long time. It's been about 3 to 4 months, and I have a very good reason for why it's been so long. Wait for it. Residency. So I studied residency, as I mentioned in my last video, in June. It's been 4 good months of chaos, crying, laughing, rejoicing, sadness, so many different emotions, stress. You can't miss that one, stress. These last 4 months have definitely worked me and forced me to expand my capacity. If you don't know, residency is training to become a licensed medical doctor who can practice on their own. So I am currently doing residency in internal medicine. It's a 3-year residency program, and you're able to specialize further and do fellowship in cardiology, gastroenterology, nephrology, which are usually the big, the more competitive specialties. But it also includes other things like integrative medicine, preventive cardiology, if you're interested in that. What other specialties can I think of? Sleep medicine, geriatrics. Internal medicine is generally a very broad field in which you can subspecialize in a lot of different things. And even as an internist, you can work as a hospitalist. You can also work as a primary care physician. You can also not work in the hospital or in the clinic. You can decide to go and work for a pharmaceutical company after graduation. So that's really the spiel of how things have been in the past couple of months. Residency is tough, but every day I try to remain grateful that I have an opportunity to practice on human beings. I have the knowledge, I believe I am competent, but I have the rare opportunity to actually practice what I've learned and to have people watch me and to teach me and to also, just guide me in becoming that medical doctor that I want to be. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. Even today was, so in my program, we have clinic every week, half the day. So today I was inpatient, I was in the hospital, rounding on patients. And then around 12, I had to leave to go see my patients in clinic. And since it's been quite a while, so now we are actually required to take on a lot more patients. So it's a lot. I feel like I'm just being thrown into the fire. And I think one thing that has been keeping me sane is that I'm not the only one. I think that's one thing that we just have to remind ourselves during this journey, is that there's nothing new under the sun. I started watching Grey's Anatomy, and it's crazy. Grey's Anatomy, I started watching it from season 1. And the thing with Grey's Anatomy, it's interesting how basically the season 1 came out like in 2006, like a long time ago. And they are basically going through this, they basically went through the same exact things that I'm going through right now. Even some of the patient cases that they had in that, in some of their episodes are patients that I've actually encountered, which is scary. Which means that residency has always been, of course there's things that we can change for residency, but it's interesting how like the feelings, the emotions, how they felt about not knowing things, how, they felt incompetent sometimes. It's an emotion and it's a feeling that a lot of people get while they're in residency. Why? Because we're still learning, we're still trying to get our footing, we're still trying to understand the system of medicine, of healthcare. So it's very important for us to give ourselves grace that we won't always know anything and that we should just show up every single day. That's my goal, honestly. If there's anything that I get out of these next 3 years, is to show up every day, ready to learn, never defeated. Because honestly, if I knew everything, then what am I doing here? Attending me, please. Like, why do I need to be here? But unfortunately, I don't know everything. So this is definitely a learning phase. There's growing pains that come with it. But the main thing is to show up every day, ready to learn, ready to take care of your patients, with a tough skin as well, to kind of just ignore the things or the comments that may sound like you're being picked at. But honestly, it's your mind playing tricks on you. You're doing great. We are doing great. I'm really just talking to my fellow residents. But if you're a medical student, a pre-med, I don't know what to tell you. Just know that residency is a thing, because I don't know if it's, honestly, no, this is another thing that I need to get into. This is going to be on its own separate section in this video. Did my program prepare me for residency? Question mark. So yeah. So the question is, so some of you may know I went to a combined BSMD program. I was telling someone the other day that I think the reason why bsmd programs are not as heavily publicized is because you don't want to force a 15-year-old or 16-year-old, a 17-year-old to basically give up their entire life for medicine, or to, they're so early, it's very early on in their life. You don't want to just be like, okay, here, this is the trajectory you should go in, without them having been properly exposed to what healthcare and what medicine is. So I would say, that's the reason why a lot of people, I feel like it's not as publicized, which is fair game. But I went to combined BSMD program, and I think I started thinking about this particular question because one of my co-interns, right? First of all, don't compare yourself to anyone who, went the traditional route. This guy worked with several different companies, medical device companies, pharmaceutical companies. He did a bunch of research before even applying to medical school, and then went to medical school. And then I just feel like, I understand things, but I feel like he understands certain things at a deeper level because he did things outside of medicine, outside of medical school. Like he actually worked in the real world before going on to medical school. And the things that he learned, I think, are things that we generally, medical school, you just learn about the basic sciences, the biomedical science, the biochemical processes behind certain things, the anatomy, right? But different things like what's the difference between this insurance, things about the devices that we use, that we use in the hospital. Those things are foreign language to me. And I think it actually adds to the reason why it was a bit hard for me to adjust. It's still very hard for me to adjust. It's because there's just some terminologies that I'm not familiar with because I did not learn it in medical school. Simple. Simple. And I just feel like, there's some people who were just out there a lot more, who, did a few things before medical school that are a little bit more knowledgeable on those things. Other than that, I feel like in terms of medicine, I think we're technically on the same page, but when it comes to outside experience and real life stuff, it's kind of hard to comprehend at this stage in my life because I went straight through. Another thing, I think, the older you are, the more experiences you have in life, and because of that, you're able to empathize with people more. I think I'm very mature for my age, but there definitely isn't things that I learned, right? There aren't things that I have experienced for myself. There are certain hobbies or things, honestly, that can also add to the kind of population that you're with. But I definitely do think that there are some experiences that I definitely cannot sympathize more with. Empathize also a bit. I can actually sympathize. Actually, I forgot. I'm trying to make the difference between the two terms clear in my head. So sympathy is just being able to say, oh, just say oh, right, and feel bad for the person. Empathy is more like putting yourself in the person's shoes. Empathy is something that we're taught in medical school. Empathy is something that every physician should try to have because, it's hard being in the hospital bed. It's hard being in the hospital for so many days away from your family sometimes, especially with COVID. But empathy, there's nothing like empathy. And of course, I can put myself in some people's shoes because I've had experiences in my life, but there's just some that is kind of hard because I can't relate. Unfortunately, I can't relate, and it's because I don't really have much experience in it. And it's because of my age, I would say. I'm quite young, but the best that I can try to do is, ask more questions, try my best to put myself in their shoes and provide the best possible care that I can. Simple. Other things, I guess that I wish would have been specified, or that could have helped if I didn't actually go through a bsmd program. I can't really think of anything else. Generally, I think I'm very happy that I'm at this point. I remember I joined a conference where it was women in a specific subspecialty event, and I saw high school students on the call. And I was like, you guys have a long way to go. So y'all have a long way to go. You have high school, you have to actually finish high school, take your SAT, your ACT, whatever you need to take. Then you still have to go to college and do pre-med classes. And then there's no guarantee that you're going to go straight into medical school. You might take a gap year to do research or to do other things. And then after that, you still have residency. And then, mind you, this was a subspecialty event. So you still have fellowship to do. It's like, wow, you need stamina, you need endurance. You really need endurance. And I'm just looking back, I'm like, what was I thinking? But we made it through, and I'm happy that I'm at this point. I'm grateful, as I mentioned before. It's not an easy journey, to be honest. So overall, I'm very grateful, and I can't wait to see the growth in me in the next couple of months, as long as I show up and study and, take care of my patients. So yeah, I'm planning to do a lot more videos, at least weekly. I'll try to do weekly. Okay, today is Thursday, so I'll try to do it, weekly, every Friday, every Saturday. If there's anything else that you want me to discuss about my journey here, feel free to comment down in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and let's connect. All right, let's connect. All right, thank you. Toodles. What did I just do?